So I won't.
So now you hate coffee per se?
I only like black. I like people who like black coffee or coffee with
How does your
cream.
family take it? I know your son drinks it and your wife does.
My wife, black. They just drink cups of black coffee. My wife likes Dunkin' Donuts coffee.
Has your daughter discovered the frappuccinos?
No, she doesn't like it. She'll get a drink at Starbucks for sure, but it'll be some fruity.
They've gone so far.
But now they're
now
smoothie,
half their menus.
Yeah.
Other drinks besides coffee. It's matcha tea.
I told her it's a bucket of sugar. I said, you're drinking a bucket of sugar. And she didn't care one bit about that. And she said, and
you're just talking to yourself.
I like how you're ramping up your body shaming for her.
I said, well, just last night I had a conversation with her. She said, what do you think about just eating fruits and not vegetables? I said, no, you have to eat vegetables also. And she said, no, I'd be okay just eating fruit. She's gotten into this real, what's that thing that's online now, like girl dinner?
I've heard of it. Yeah, I'm not 100% clear on the topic, but it's like whatever is around in your house.
Yes,
you put it on a plate, take a picture. That's girl dinner.
That's girl dinner, and you just have whatever it is.
New York peppermint patty and some peas.
Exactly. And I said to her one night last week, what'd you have for dinner? And she was like, popcorn, Cheez-Its, and a piece of ham. And I was like, you're going to be constipated. You're going to wind up being constipated on this. I just told.
Did she storm out of the room?
I told her that. She goes, stop talking to me about that. I said, do you know what constipation is? Because you're about to find out. I said, you need fiber and you need vegetables in your diet. She goes, I hate that. And I had the conversation. Let me tell you something. She's in the crosshairs of my wife right now too, because yesterday, listen to this. She's ready to get. This time.
Is the 15-year-old girl.
Yes, and it's time for her to get her learner's permit. She has gone through driver's ed. She's gone through the testing, all of that stuff. She has to go to the DMV, take a written test, and then she has to take a driving test, and then she'll get the permit. And then in a year or less, she'll get her license. So the question now for my wife was, when are we going to get the learner's permit, or when are we going down to the DMV? Because there's certain hours and certain of them are open, So yesterday, my daughter had to get out of school early for something. I think she had her final, not braces, but the Invisalign thing.
Orthodontist.
Right. And so she goes to the orthodontist and gets out sooner than expected. So my wife says, and this was not expected, she said to my daughter, are you ready to go get your learner's permit? Can you go do it right now? Because we can just make it before, because they close at 4:30, and it was, 3:45, and you have to drive about 30 minutes to get there. She goes, we can just make it. And so my daughter says, yeah, let's go do it. So, all right. And my wife has been trying to fit this in all these different places. Our busy schedules. We just get the kid, she's in school until 4:00 every day. You've got to go at 4:30. And we have many things between my pickleballing. I mean, I can't be taking her. So my wife says, we're going to go right now and get your permit. And my daughter says, let's go. And my wife says, do you need to study the written test on the way? Because we're going to get this done. And she goes, no, I've got it. So they go into the DMV, not a soul there. Now, when has that ever happened? When has that ever happened? Okay.
Everything's lining up.
It's 4:15.
I'd assume the place is being robbed.
Right.
And they took, the robbers took the uniforms of the DMV. The real DMV people were tied up down below their desks.
Of course you would. Of course you would. So
no one's on the floor behind the counter.
Yeah, right.
Hi, we're here for a learner's permit. Okay.
Get down, lady.
But they walk in. My wife says, we're here for the learner's permit.
Oh, my God, exciting.
DMV lady says, let's see your paperwork. My wife says, here it is. Signs. And the woman looks like, all right, take a seat. You're number 328. So they sit down. 30 seconds later, ding, 328.
It's on.
It is on. It is on. My wife's like, this is perfect. When does a plan ever come together well?
So rarely.
Something gets in the way. And as my wife is telling me this, I'm like, what? I assumed the paperwork would not be in order. When my son got his permit, they didn't have one little thing. It is, what happened with my son? We got the paperwork, but then COVID hit. And so 30 days later, they go in and the woman goes, this is expired. And my wife said, COVID. And the woman goes, I don't care.
Through her mask.
I mean, they were closed. You couldn't go. And the woman said, expired. You got to go back. Yes. Okay. So
Here comes number 328.
here we go.
Got the paperwork.
Bing, 328. My daughter goes back. Bam, bam, bam. My wife sits there. 15 minutes later, my daughter comes out. My wife says, what do we do next? My daughter says, let's go home. I failed. And my wife was so mad at her. Oh, my God. Because she gave her every opportunity to study on the way.
To cram.
And she has asked her many times, do you know this material? Do you know this material? Yes, 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 yes.
Did your daughter share with her mother or with the family how close she came to passing?
You are allowed to miss 5 questions.
Is it still 20? Is it more?
It's 20 questions. You can miss 5.
I think I could miss 4 back in my day.
Okay, you can, well, now we're more lenient now. We want you out there. You can miss 5. My daughter missed 6. And yes, my wife did ask that question.
Did you ask the questions that she missed?
I did not. I didn't.
I'd be interested to know that.
I'm going to follow up.
And say what, what did you miss? Because it'd be interesting to see what she thought
Yes.
the right answer was.
And
Think it's road sign related?
Always, man. I couldn't, even now, they try to give you, as you get older, that road sign test. And I'm like, I don't know.
You know, because we're used to, as drivers, you're used to seeing signs.
Yeah.
But when you go to the DMV, they just show you the shape of a sign.
Which is
Says,
always-
what does that
that's
mean?
right. That's right.
Which, to me, what a load.
Nobody's ever going to put up a blank sign.
Yeah, on the road, it says.
Yeah.
So they're like, no, you got to know the shapes and the what?
Oh, it's an
that is
orange
the-
triangle. What does that mean? Whatever
Yeah.
it says.
All right.
If there is one of the dumbest and biggest waste of time, it is that.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
Hey, we're going to keep you off the road because you don't know the shapes of the sign. Well, on the road,
it'll say
the GD sign has words.
It'll say no passing zone
Yeah.
or whatever.
the red
Speed
octagon
limit.
has the word stop written
Yeah.
across.
I remember arguing that point with the DMV person when I was 15 years old.
Yeah.
I was like, I was like, it says, yeah, oh yeah, they didn't care.
We don't care.
Mhm. They didn't care then.
329.
Yeah.
My daughter, talk about a Gen Z moment. She says, as she comes down after I know this, I said, I hear you have problems with your, and she says, it's important to recognize that this moment doesn't define me and who I Oh, boy, my wife. Because next week, of course, we have activities. We have things going on.
Oh, yeah.
And she's like,
Oh, well, because the next time you go in, there's going to be 327
Exactly.
people in there.
Exactly.
And you are going to be 328.
that's right. That's right.
And nobody's going to have their paperwork together.
And probably expired. Now, next time it'll be like, here's the paperwork. Expired.
Expired.
Got to go back and get
Every
it.
person in front of you's going to take forever.
Of course.
I need my what?
Of course. Rosebud, a comment on the driver's test. Go ahead.
Good morning, P1 Salisbury.
Thank you.
Man, I tell you what, I cannot even get in to the adventure that it was getting my eldest child his learner's permit. He went there the first time, and the driver's ed class certificate was expired by a couple days. I said, well, darn.
Yep.
So I took him the second time, and I said, hey, what's next? He said, we're going home, Dad. I failed the test.
Just like
And
my
I said,
daughter.
well, hey, everybody could fail it the first time. We go the second time. Now, I drive to RDU every day for work, 4 days a week. So I have to take time out of my day and, take a day off and the whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
We go to take it the second time. And I said, hey, man, I tell you what. I said, if you pass it this time, I said, that fishing rod you've been looking for, we're going to go buy it. And I said, I talked to your pop-up. I said, he'll give you $50 if you pass today. He's like, Dad, I'm pumped.
Yeah.
We walk in there. We walk out. I said, what's next? He said, Dad, we're going home. I said, hey, sucker. I said, are you dim or something? He says, Dad, I don't know what's up. So I take him the third time. Now, you got to wait 2 weeks before you can take
That's
him.
right. You have to wait another 2
I take
weeks.
him the first time.
You can't just go right back. That's right.
Oh.
I take him a third time. We walk in. We walk out. He's crying. And I'm not even mad anymore.
Man.
So I told my wife, I said, hey, you got to take him this last time. I said, I can't do it. I said, my boss is up to his eyeballs with me, taking all this time off because my son can't pass a simple 20-question test.
That's it.
So 2 weeks go by. My son sends me a picture of his learner's permit.
He got it.
And I said, it's about darn time. He went in there the fourth time. He missed the first question. And then he answered every question after that correctly. The only saving grace in all this, as they don't charge you until you pass it.
I'm surprised they don't.
Oh, interesting.
That's
good to know.
Talk about a money grab
Yeah.
for the state if they charge you when you failed
per
also.
attempt.
Yeah,
Oh.
every attempt, you make a lot more money.
You want to know the only test I got 100 on in my entire life?
Yeah.
That one.
That test. You got
I
it.
couldn't wait to get my learner's permit because I knew I was that much closer.
You got it.
I studied. I was so ready. I walked in there. I aced that thing.
Rosebud, that is a great story.
Oh,
I hope my daughter can do it in half the time your son took. Wow. Thank you very much, Rosebud. What a great story. Man, it's not that. I just was I was floored that I kept waiting for what surely something the DMV did. She failed. We failed the test. And then she said, please do not discuss this publicly. I said, oh, sweetheart. I'm doing this.
Oh, you're about to learn a lesson.
Come on now.